Hi everybody, this is Tina with Rehatch Designs. Hope everybody's doing well. I have a little video today that is just kind of I guess a tutorial. I had some people ask me how I make my tassels, and I do have a couple videos out there on making tassels, but honestly I make them a little bit differently now than I did before. But you know, it's very similar. But I'm going to go ahead and do a quick little video and show people, because I'm in the middle of a journal that I'm making, actually at the end, and I tend to do tassels on my retro type journals and my super shabby ones, but not on others. But anyway, I thought I'd show you how I did do this. That way it maybe can help some people out there. First off, I have these little things that I bought years ago because I used to do jewelry making. And what they are, I can find the other half of it, is they are used to close like necklaces, bracelets, etc. This would go on one side and this goes on the other side of the necklace that you make. And then this loops through here, and it actually really does work well. You would put this through there that way, and then it holds, okay? And the same for this silver one. And I bought these years and years ago because I did make jewelry, but I started using these pieces. I'm not using these pieces. I'll figure out something to use for those, but I started using these pieces to make tassels, and they work really, really well for that because they've got the little piece that you put on top that you can hook it to a bulb pin or a jump ring or something, you know, to attach it to your journal. And plus it's a round thing that you can, you know, put it through. I see a lot of people use these little clamps, and they work really well, but they're a lot bigger. And I just like the way how these look when they're done. But I already have them. So this way probably is easier because you don't have to feed it through. You can just open it up and hook it on, and I'll show you kind of why it would be easier, but I you know, I'm just going for how it looks in the end. Honestly though, there's a lot of different things that you could use, anything round. This is a piece off of a scarf thing I had. Here's another round piece. It doesn't have anything to hook the bulb pin to, but you can still use that. I think this is a deal. This is for like a keychain. You could use that. You know, there's just a multitude of things you could use. You could also, if you wanted to, make your own little loop that you could use. This is my rusty wire, and I'm just going to show you that because it's what I had handy, so I hope you can see it. But you would just basically, let me just do it real quickly and I'll show you. If you didn't have anything, you just want to take a piece of wire and you would basically kind of put it in half, because you want to be able to make a round or an oval loop. And all you're going to do is twist it. Hopefully you can see that. You're just going to twist it to the loop size that you want. Like, that's kind of big, but I'm going to do it about right there. That's probably even bigger than I would want, but I want you to see it. And depending upon the wire, you can just twist it with your hands, or if you have a jewelry tool, you can use that. And basically, if you want to make a little loop on top, you know, to give you the same kind of situation that I have here, where I have something to attach my jump ring, you could just take this and cut off one of the little sides here, go all the way down, and then just take, you'll have like a little piece like that, and you can just, here I'm going to cut some of that off, it's too big. So you have your piece like that, and you could just basically make a little loop at the top go around. This just is your little thing here. I'm going to go ahead and make my loop. So you're going around that, and then you're going to just go ahead and twist it around. And you can do that with your pliers. You can do it with your hands. If you do it with your pliers, it will turn out tighter. And you just do it around a couple times, and then all you're going to do is cut that wire off as close as you can. And you end up with something like this that gives you a loop. Here, I would smush that part that's sticking out over there or cut it closer, because you don't want it to, you don't want it to jab anybody. But you would end up with basically the same thing that I'm going to have here. Okay? You end up with the same mechanical, and like I said, it can be any color wire you have. I just happen to have that rusty wire sitting there, so I thought I would show you. So I mean, you definitely could make something that could do the same thing. But anyway, I'm going to use these, and you can see though that you have a lot of options. And I'm going to use this little silver one. It's one of my favorites because it's small. And what I'm going to do is I am just going to make my tassel to go on my journal. And the first thing I do is I start cutting pieces. And I usually cut them right around 14 inches. Because I want my tassel to be about 6 inches, 6 inches long when I'm done. So half of 6 inches is 12, and I give myself a little play room. And I use my mat to just cut it to right about 14 inches. Okay, and I'll just put that there in the middle. And then I will just start cutting pieces that are approximately 14 inches. And I don't really worry, honestly, if they're perfectly 14 inches, because I trim them later anyway. And I pretty much just figure out what I want in there. I tend to put a lot of the ribbons and things that I have used in the journal on there. That way I'm kind of, not necessarily matching it, but, just kind of coordinating it, I guess would be the word. And how thick you want it really depends on your own personal taste. It doesn't, there's no real formula for it. You're just going to have to figure that out on your own. I just, try and get a multitude of different colors, and I just keep going till I think I have enough in there. And that usually takes a while. I worry about colors and things like that. Just trying to get a different mix of colors in there. I think I need more green. And honestly, they're fun to make. You can make a bunch all at one time. I tend to make them for each journal because I coordinate with the cover and the inside. But if you're making a bunch of journals, you certainly could just sit down and do these, and it probably wouldn't take you very long to do a bunch of them. So so I will do that. And then let's see, I think I need more green. So I just basically keep doing that. And I have some green down sitting on the floor for some reason. One thing I like to add too is I love to add eyelash trim. I happen to have some red and green. I don't even know where I got it, honestly. I really don't. Let's see here. And I tend to add quite a bit of eyelash trim because I think it looks cool. And I use the eyelash trim in the end to kind of tie it all up, and I'll show you that. And I'll use some white. So I'm going to go ahead and put some white, and then I'm going to go ahead and use white later too. So anyway, you do that, you get all your pieces. I'm going to add a few more, and I'll come back, and then what we'll do is I'll show you how to add other things to it. So I'll be right back. What you'll see I end up with is a big bunch of ribbons, and basically how I decide if I have enough is I kind of fold it in half and look at it, and I go, that's a pretty good sized tassel there. And they're kind of, you know, they're not even or anything like that. They're not perfect. This is the time when you want to kind of decide also if you want to add, I strung some beads on this, what do you call it? Just some ribbon. And you can just take any kind of beads and you just can string them on. You can put it on, you know, if you want to, you can put it on wire or something. I usually tend to, when I make these tassels, I will put them on just a ribbon like this and put it through there. And I actually did like a whole garland of this, so that's why I have this. So I will make this as long as my thing too. And this one looks a little bit longer than it needs to be, but I will go ahead and string that through also, and you'll see that. This is the time too to decide if you want to add other things. Like I have some bells. You could add, I have these little Christmas lights you could put on there. I have this is supposed to be, these are ornaments that I got, I think, from the Dollar Tree. You could add that. I have a little tag that I could put on there. Got these cool little skates. I mean, there's all kinds of things that you could just add to it depending upon the style of your journal. I've got a little rusty star here if I was doing a rusty one, a rusty bell. I've got a little disco ball thing, but there's just you can think of anything, you can put it in there. So what I'm going to do now though is I'm going to show you the basic tassel of how I'm doing it. And I'm putting it through this little thing right here. Believe it or not, it will fit. So I go ahead and I just, after I've gathered up all my ribbon, I go ahead and I kind of like get the top part right here, and I just start getting them all kind of lined up to where I can feed it through. And this is why using this thing makes it easier. Not that one. Where did it go? This can make it easier for people because you don't have to feed it through. You can just loop it in, and that's why a lot of people do it that way. But I like how this looks, so this is why I do it this way. I just like how it ends up looking. That's the only reason I do it this way. And it is harder, but like I said, it's just really about the looks for me. That's all there is to it. It has no other reason why. So again, I'm trying to get all of this right here together so that I can feed it through, okay? And that's what I'm going to be doing. And I get to the point where I just kind of hold it up and I just start adding the rest of them to that. And believe it or not, it will work. I just keep adding, and just keep going. And I really love how easy it is then to hook onto something too, because you've got that little ring on top. So pretty much this is it. This is what we're going to put through there. And it isn't even. Got that one piece right there that's kind of sticking out. And I kind of you know, just get it to where it's semi-even. It doesn't have to be perfectly even, guys, because you're going to straighten all this out. I kind of twist it a little bit, especially on this little one. This one is harder than using this one, obviously, but it still works. And I'm going to kind of twist it and feed it through this ring. And believe it or not, it will go through. There may be a few of them you have to go push through again, but it will fit. And you just kind of shove it in there. And it goes in the little loop. And I do have, there is a lot in this one, but that's okay. It'll work. Okay, my one little piece right here doesn't want to go. Pull it through. I'll just pull it aside, and then I'll feed it through later. So all I'm doing now is pushing. This one didn't go through. And I just take something and I will just tuck it under there and get that to go under. It got left behind. And you can do it after you're done too. You don't have to do it right now. You can add things to it, believe it or not. But I will just take this and then just shove it under there and make sure it goes under. That's how I do it. The same with this little green one if I want it in there. I also can add that later on the outside, and I'll show you why in a minute. Actually, I'll leave it out so I can show you what we're going to do with it. Okay, so then you just keep going until you get somewhat in the middle of this whole big thing full of ribbon. So you just keep pulling it, and it will be tight, especially with this much ribbon. But that's okay. That's what makes it look good, is that you don't have a big old ring when you're done. You just really can see the tassel. So I get it somewhat in the middle. I'm going to go down just a little bit more. Okay. What you're going to find when you get it somewhat in the middle is, of course, you're going to have one side that's really kind of messy and the other side that's close. But you want to get to where you have your 6 inches, which you will have because you did it for 14 inches. You've got some to cut off. And you go like this, and you'll be able to cut off a few inches and get it all even, okay? But I don't do that yet. What I do is I take, usually eyelash trim. I don't know, I just like to use it. I'm getting a couple white pieces here too. And I'm going to use this green so you can see what I'm doing. So I am just going to fold this in half. I got it somewhat in the middle, okay? And I'm going to fold this in half and hold it as tight as I can. Let me get my little tweezers because I like these. These are my reverse tweezers, and I use this all the time to hold things when I'm doing a knot or a bow or something. So I am just going to fold this in half. I got it somewhat in the middle, okay? And I'm going to fold this in half and hold it as tight as I can. Let me get my little tweezers because I like these. And I just kind of do it to where it's as tight as I can get it. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and put my eyelash trim on there to tie a knot. And I'm just using it like a string. Okay, and I'm just going to tie a knot at the top. Okay, and it doesn't matter if it's perfect yet because you can adjust it. Okay, and what I do then is I take my little tweezers or somebody's thumb or whatever to hold it, and I'm going to tie it even tighter, okay, than it is there, as tight as I can get it without breaking my string. And I'm just going to tie a knot, okay, and that's going to hold it in place. And then I can kind of adjust it some more to where it's, you know, I get the strings that I want on top, etc. Okay, and I get it all to where the top is the way I want it. And then I go and I take my my string, and it doesn't have to be eyelash. It could be any of the other ribbons, but because this is so thin, it ends up looking, I think, better. So then I can go around the top, and now I'm going to just actually tie it again, and I'm going to tie it even tighter. All right. And I use this. It really does hold it in place, but I've got it even tighter, and I'm going to go ahead and hold it where I tie the knot. Okay. And what that does is that makes my little top there, okay? And as you can see, you can barely see the ring on top. I mean, it's just hidden in there in the ribbons. And you can pull down and make it tighter and on top. Adjust the ribbon, do whatever. You can put more eyelash trim, which I usually do. I take my other eyelash trim and I will go ahead and go around with it a few times just to make sure it is nice and tight. And tie another knot. It's hard to tell with the eyelash trim what I'm doing, I know, but it tends to work. I mean, this is why I'm saying you could use regular string, but the eyelash trim tends to add to it and blend in, and I don't know. I like it. Now, if you want it further down, you could push it down and do it like that. It's totally up to you where you want that and how you want it to look. So if you wanted to do it like in a gold thread or something to add to it, I've done that before. The other thing too is you could take these strings right here and you could add your beads directly to whatever string you put on top. If you wanted to use like a smaller thread or something, let me see if I can find what I'm talking about. Like if you wanted to use something like this, okay, and let's say you did that, that's kind of unraveled. You could take this cording and you could add that to it, okay, even after you've done this part, okay, and you can take your cording, and I'm doing it in half, and I'm doing this a little bit shorter than I did my other pieces, so you can take your cording. I'm going to tie a knot in it, okay, to keep it nice and tight, right? And then, okay, you could add, here, let me do these. You could add whatever you're going to add, like if you were going to add, you know, the like I'm putting these bells on. You could add beads, for instance. Here, maybe I'll just take these and I'll add them on there so you can see what I'm talking about. You can just take some beads and add those. I should probably put glue on that because it's going to unravel. Whenever you're using cording, it unravels really easily. So you can add beads to it. You can do all kinds of stuff. It gives you the ability to just add right to it. And you could put several of those cords on there and then do whatever it is you want to do. Like, let's say, for instance, here, this is really wanting to unravel. So let me get it in there. I'll have to cut it. There we go. You could take your little beads and then bead it right through there. Although this is not wanting to go through there because they're not, it's kind of unraveling. But anyway, you get the idea. You could put the beads on there. I'm going to actually just put these on and then just kind of tie it. And I don't want it super low, so I'm going to probably just go about that high and then tie that on. So I have my bells and probably cut that, and then make sure it doesn't unravel. Put a little bit of glue. And then I'm going to do the other one. Honestly, the sky's the limit as far as what you can add to it. I mean, after the fact. And let me show you how I'm going to add that other string so you can see that. Right. I mean, cording works well. It's just you have to make sure that you do something. First, before we add the other stuff, I want to show you this. You're probably thinking, oh, it's a hot mess. You have all this stuff on the bottom and it's all crooked. So the best thing to do is you just kind of pull it out like that. And remember, we wanted approximately 6 inches, so I'm going to guess. And that's really about right here, okay? So you can see how easy it is to just cut this. And if you have some strings that went through there crooked, like one didn't go all the way through, you can always pull it. It'll go back and forth. As far as like if one side's short and one side's long. I could have done that before I added my bells. It would make it easier, but you know, they're not really a problem. So I'm just going to take this and I'm going to cut it. And it usually takes a couple of cuts to get it to where I want it. And I just go across and I cut approximately. And then I have my tassel, okay, the way I want it, and it's pretty even. And I'll go ahead and go through usually a couple times, you know, like I did it once. And if I want to do it again, I will go ahead and get all those little loose ends and trim it a little bit better. It's usually easier to do it the second time because you can see what you're doing. And that just kind of gets it all the way I want it. Now, like these beads, if I want to put these on, I took that off, but that's okay. I'm going to tie this at the end here. If I wanted to tie something on the end of it, I could do that too. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to leave these beads for now, but you could use this ribbon to tie, you know, like if I wanted to put one of the skates or something else on there, I can do that. But I'm just going to leave the beads on. And I had strung them on this red ribbon. I'm going to put a knot at the bottom so the beads don't fall off. No, I didn't do the knot right, but I'm going to do it again. So I'm just going to make sure I have a nice knot at the bottom. And I'm going to kind of space them out. How many do I have? I think that'll work. Might be too long. We'll have to go there. 3 on each side. Okay, and then I'm just going to cut that so that I have the other side. And really, all I did is string these on a ribbon. You could do it on a cord, you could do it on a string, you could do it on anything. It doesn't really matter. And you can attach this several different ways. You can tie it around like we did the cord. And on this one, since I don't have that much ribbon on there, I think what I'm going to do, so that's the middle of it right there, pretty much. This is where you could take the cord that you had on there already, and you can add it to that, or you could take, see how I have these strings that I put on there before? I can take that and I can put my ribbon through here, and I'm trying to find the middle, and I'm just going to go ahead and tie a knot on there. I put my ribbon right through there, and I'm going to tie a knot, and that attaches these little beads right there, and it blends right in. So I think it could go this way a little bit. There we go. So there you go. That attached those little beads just like that. And you can, you know, keep adding on. And that's why I like using the strings on there, because you can't even tell where I put it in there. So you can just take a bulb pen, which is just one of these little pens that you can buy. Gosh, they're super cheap, by the hundreds, or, you know, I don't think I have any silver ones, but I don't worry about mixing metals. Like that, and you can attach that directly to your journal. You can put an eyelet on there and put this through an eyelet. You could take a clip and put it, let's see if I have a clip handy. But then you could just clip it onto that. You can clip it onto a clip. You can get these things. They have small ones, big ones, whatever. And you can put these directly on your journal, you know, punch a hole in your journal and have that on your journal so that you can clip this on and off. Or you could attach this directly to your journal. Just take a jump ring, and you would take that jump ring and then add it to the top of this, which, let me show you real quick how to do that. There's a multitude of ways you can put it on there, but as far as the actual construction of it, pretty easy. And like I said, you don't have to have those things that I had. I just happen to have them. And I just like how it looks rather than a big ring. This is a pretty good size jump ring. And I like them bigger when I'm doing the tassels, because it gives them, oops, I didn't do it on there good. So I took the jump ring and I'm just going to put it through here like that. Okay. And what I'm going to be doing with this is that I will put this in the actual journal, and then I'll open this up and I'll attach it directly to that. Okay, so, and if you want to take it off, then you can just open up the jump ring and take it off. But anyway, that is my tassel, guys. That's an easy way to make it, I think. It may have looked like I struggled there, but I really didn't. If you don't have this little thing on top, like let's say you use something like this. Let's say I used an old jewelry piece, or I used my key thing like this, and I don't have like a little loop on top to attach the jump ring. You would just take your jump ring. Let me open it up and I'll show you. And you would just put it directly on your jump ring, just like that. And even if you're going to just attach it with a bulb pen, which I lost now, if you put that jump ring on top, then you can just take your jump ring or your bulb pen and then go directly to that, like that. And then you can attach it to a bull clip, or you can attach it to an eyelet in your journal, or you can attach it even to the little thing that I'm adding. So you could attach it to this, okay? Or you could attach this jump ring directly to that. So you don't have to have, you know, the little piece that I have. You don't have to have that, okay? The jump ring does the same thing, okay? So does, you know, making your own with wire. I mean, you could do it with wire, but it'll do the same thing, basically, okay? So anyway, that's how I do it, and I hope that helps and gives you a multitude of ways to do it. I'll see you again next time. Take care. Bye-bye.